You're supposed to give me some kind of signal. Hi guys! Welcome back to CJ's Keto Kitchen. We hope you're having a wonderful holiday season so far. Tonight we are going to be making another holiday themed recipe, and this is a very traditional one, and we are going to be making rum balls. Keto rum balls. So come on and let's get started. So rum balls are very traditional this time of year, and almost every single country has a version of them. And in order to be a true rum ball, it must include both chocolate and rum. So if you are making something without those two ingredients, it will be similar to a rum ball, but it's not technically considered a rum ball. So usually a rum ball is a type of truffle confection that is rolled in either coconut or nuts or cocoa powder. So it's very similar to a truffle, and they're not baked, they're simply pulled together, and then they're usually chilled. They're very common for gift giving and for parties, and they do include a little bit of alcohol, so sometimes they can have a little bit of a zing to them because it's not cooked out. So, and if you were wondering, the largest rum ball ever created was created last year in June in Denmark, and it weighed 68 pounds. So let's go ahead and get started making some slightly smaller than 68-pound rum balls. So first of all, we're going to line a small baking sheet with some parchment paper because we need somewhere for our rum balls to rest once we get them finished so that they can chill for a little bit in the refrigerator. So I have, this is just a half sheet baking pan. But you can use anything you want. If you have a, 8x8 or a 9x13 or wherever you want them to rest, it's fine. And if you have a silicone mat that's this size, you could use that too, but I just put some parchment paper down. And we're also going to need a plate with our shredded coconut. And I'm using unsweetened coconut flakes. And they can sometimes be a challenge to find. Sometimes they're kind of hidden or off with the rest of the sweetened coconut. Just make sure that you get unsweetened because the sweetened coconut is sweetened with sugar. Sometimes I know Bob's Red Mill makes some unsweetened coconut too. And if you can only find the big flakes, you could always run this through your processor and make them smaller. But we want that set out kind of on a plate so that when we get done with our rum balls, we're going to roll them in the unsweetened coconut. So if you don't care for coconut, cannot find coconut, or for whatever reason you don't want to use coconut, you could also roll the balls in a little bit more of the cacao powder. You could do it in some finely ground nuts or a little bit of artificial powdered sweetener. So it all depends on your personal choice, but I'm going to be doing mine in some unsweetened coconut. So to start, we need a processor of some kind or your blender if you don't have a food processor. And the first thing that we are going to be putting in is hemp hearts. And I was able to just find mine at the regular grocery store, and usually with the rest of the baking stuff. Or sometimes you can find it in if your grocery store has a gluten-free aisle. And these are just shelled hemp seeds. But they provide a nice nutty flavor without actually being nuts. And they're really high in omegas, both 3 and 6. And they also have some protein in them, but they're very low in carbs. Their total carbs is 1 gram, and then the dietary fiber is 1 gram, so they're basically nothing. So we're going to be using about 3/4 of a cup of these. I'm just going to put that into my processor. And then we need to use some cacao powder. I got mine at Trader Joe's. If you cannot find this, cocoa powder will work. This is just a higher quality product, and it just tastes a little richer, and it's just overall yummier. So, and we need about a half a cup of that. And that's going to give us our nice chocolatey taste for our rum balls. And then to that, we also need to add just a little bit of almond flour. And I'm just using blanched almond flour. And I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of that. Okay, Okay, now we need 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and I'm using extra virgin. And we're just going to put that in there. I'm going to try and spread it around a little bit so that when we pulse it, it will combine a little bit easier. Now we need to add some sweetener, and I'm going to be using a liquid product in this step, but you could use a granular product, but I would suggest pulsing the granular product before you do the rest of these steps so it's nice and fine, or you could use a powdered artificial sweetener. But I'm going to be using a combination of stevia and Splenda. Use whatever you'd like. And the original recipe calls for 15 drops, but I don't have a dropper, so I'm squeezing. Then we need a pinch of sea salt, so that's what this is. And then here comes the step that makes these rum balls. So I'm going to be using dark rum, and I'm going to be using 2 tablespoons. If you do not care for rum, if you are not into alcohol, you could use rum extract, you could use vanilla extract, or you could just use water. But these being rum balls and this being the holiday, I am going to be using rum, and I am putting in 2 tablespoons. Okay, now we have all of our ingredients in there, and I'm going to pulse this until it pulls together in my food processor, and then we're going to make it into balls. It's getting very close. I'm going to pulse it just a little bit more. Okay. So now we have our nice mixture. I'll scrape it off my processor, and we will get it rolled into balls and dipped into our coconut. Okay, so you can see that it has pulled together into a nice brown yummy mass. And this is supposed to make 12 rum balls. So I'm going to be taking the spoon that I did the coconut oil with. It's about 1.5 tablespoons, and kind of trying to make them similar sized balls. So I'm going to form these into balls as evenly as I can and set them on a plate until I'm ready to roll them into my coconut. So I'm just going to take them by hand and roll them around. I think I'll take my jewelry off. And I'm just going to set them aside on my plate, as you can see, until we're ready to roll coconut. And you can make these balls larger or smaller, depending on what you would like. I'm just trying to make mine fairly even, but if you end up with more than 12, that's okay too. They smell really yummy and chocolatey. And the little bits of white you see in here are the coconut oil from the spoon, because I used the coconut oil spoon. They do smell very yummy and chocolatey. These would be very pretty to take to a party or to set out on your buffet. And I think I'm going to get 12. Scrape out the last little bit here out of my processor. Make sure I get every last drop of chocolatey goodness. Okay, so there's my 12 balls. 12 balls of Christmas. So now I'm going to do the rolling in the coconut part. Okay, so take your rum balls and just roll them around in the coconut. And as I mentioned, if you don't care for coconut, you can roll them in a powdered artificial sweetener, or just a little bit more of the cocoa powder, or some finely ground nuts. And it's best if you can let these chill for a little while, just because it helps them solidify a bit with the coconut oil. But of course, if you want to eat them straight away, you can. They'll be more like truffles. Okay, last one. Okay, so I have them on the baking tray, and that's what they look like. Very cute. Cute little keto rum balls. So come on back for a taste test.
Hi.
So tonight you get to taste something delicious that has a bit of a zing to it, so you need to be careful, because if you're an alcohol lightweight, you might notice a little bit of a zing.
Yes, and
These are rum balls.
I'm an alcohol lightweight.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
They got a zing.
They do.
They're not necessarily for children.
Right. I don't think you want to have these out for your kids.
These are adult
Yeah, it's an adult
confections.
treat. It's an adult treat. It's good though. I do like rum, but it is made of rum.
Yes.
And it is potent. But as you said, you can make it with.
You could do rum extract, or
Yeah.
I mean,
Or you could even probably lessen the amount of rum you put in.
Yes, you can, and you could also make it with different alcohol. Some people do bourbon balls, which are similar, but they're made with bourbon instead. So if you're not a rum person, but you still wanted them to have alcohol in them, you could do a different alcohol.
Right. No, they're good. They're good.
Be a nice addition to a festive party.
Yeah, for an adult party.
For an adult party. An adult Christmas party, which a lot of Christmas parties are.
Yes.
Yes.
So, anyway, I like them. I think people will like them.
They're nice and easy.
Yeah, they were out. I was here while you were making them.
And they should keep well in the refrigerator until you're finished with them.
Should they?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they were good, and I think,
seasonal.
again, I think people will like them. Good job. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us again tonight, you guys. We hope that you enjoy the rum balls and that you're enjoying your holiday season. Please consider subscribing and continuing to join us for the next couple of weeks as we continue to make a few more Christmas holiday themed recipes. If you'd like to hit the notification bell, that will ensure that you do not miss out on any of our content. We have new recipes that go up on Sundays, and we have keto conversations on Wednesdays where we get together and discuss ketogenic topics and help keep each other motivated. So if you would like any further recipe ideas or macros, and also the full recipe that is printable for the rum balls, you can go to our blog, and that's cjsketokitchen.com. We're also on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and that's CJ's Keto Kitchen. So come back and see us again, and we'll see